Hello, everyone. Neil here. Before we begin, this episode actually was recorded a while back, and in between the recording and the current release date, we unfortunately lost Stan Lee, a comics titan. And since this is the MCU Lay It On Me episode, and the fact that he had a huge hand in the MCU, we just wanted to update the episode before it came out. And with me here right now is our special guest for this episode, Dustin Resch. How's it going, Dustin?
Good, Neil. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining me for this extra little recording. Since you're an artist, and you have been for a long, long time, just wanted to ask you before we started the episode, before it gets going, what Stan Lee meant to you and how he influenced you.
So Stan Lee was a great big influence on me. I was a comic collector as a kid, and I haven't kept up with the comics as an adult, but it's still been a big part of my world, especially since the Marvel movies started coming out. I do the Denver Comic Con each year, and I've done a few out of town shows with the art based on the MCU as my primary offering. So I do a lot of drawings of the movie versions of the characters that he created, and everything that I do has been influenced. I had the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book in high school. Stan and Jack Kirby and John Romita and all those guys were something I don't know what life would be like without.
Well, no, I think that's really special, and you can tell the influences that he had on you and your artwork. So before we get started, we had a lot of fun doing this game, and I hope everyone listening enjoys it. Right before we get started, is there, just off the top of your head, one comic that you think people should check out that Stan Lee was involved in?
Yeah, I don't know whether he was a direct writer, but there's one called Moon Knight that hasn't been involved in the MCU yet, and I loved that comic back in the day, and I'm hoping that he'll get added to the new canon in the films.
Wonderful. Well, make sure everyone to check out Moon Knight. And thanks for joining us for a quick intro here, Dustin, and we'll get right to the game.
Thanks, man.
How's this? I'll ask a question.
What question?
Jazz question. Hey, you get it right. We roll.
I know everything there is to know about Miles. Lay it on me.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality. This is Ken, and I want to just take this opportunity to say I am Iron Man. Joining me today in the studio are Neil, Jeff, and Matt. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
And we are doing a special MCU Lay It On Me with our special guest, Dustin Resch. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, Iron Man.
Thank you. Really quick, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a web designer by day, but I'm working on an illustration career, and I do a lot of comic book art that I sell at Denver Comic Con and a few of the others, and I'm also working on a children's book illustration career.
That's awesome.
So DustinResch.com is where you can go to find all of both of those kinds of art, and links to both my Instagrams, both my Twitters, both my Facebooks.
Awesome.
And my Etsy store and my TeePublic store where you can buy stuff.
Yeah, and we'll throw a link to all that on the Facebook page too,
Yeah.
so people can reach out to you there.
Yeah, he's got some great art. Make sure you guys check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And obviously you're a big MCU fan, and probably Marvel in general, I would assume.
What does that stand for?
Men's Christian University?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
The
Graduate.
Marvel
That's my alma
Cinematic
mater.
Universe.
The old MCU turned 10 recently. Crazy how far that's come.
DC's
So
hot
big-
on its tail though. Aquaman's coming out, so look out, Marvel.
Shazam!
Hey,
What a-
Shazam looks good.
It
I'm
does.
not mad about that.
Well, Tim Evans was nice enough to write us some more questions. He is, of course, the quiz mercenary, and he wrote some more questions that he was happy to provide to us for this Marvel Cinematic Universe Lay It On Me. So, are you ready?
Lay it on me.
All right, question number 1. What is the name of the group of World War II soldiers led by Captain America in The First Avenger?
The Howling Commandos.
Yep, that's right, Howling Commandos. How do you
Ooh.
like that first Captain America movie?
I like it a bunch. I've been rewatching everything. I I'm realizing the second Captain America movie is my favorite of that series, and just better than I thought it was when I rewatched.
Yeah, I
Is that
think
Winter Soldier?
that
Yeah.
one's
That movie's
Yeah.
solid.
that one's top 5 overall
all,
for sure.
all I remembered afterwards was like the whole big crashing triple helicarrier thing, but there's so much great story leading up to that in that one.
Yeah, and I do love the first one. I have a soft spot for it because it's directed by Joe Johnston, who did The Rocketeer. A lot of Rocketeer elements in that
Yeah.
one.
Skinny Chris Evans, not the best CGI looking back on it.
All right, number 2. What late 90s bank heist movie does Tony Stark use as a nickname for Thor when they first meet in Avengers? It's also used in 2018's Thor Ragnarok.
That's the famous Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves joint, The Strongest Avenger. I mean Point Break.
Yes, that's right, Point Break.
Via con Dios.
Of course, I'm sure he's referring to Swayze's brilliant hair in Point Break.
As Bodhi.
And Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah. I was thinking Johnny Bravo. You're right. It's Johnny Utah.
Little aside
Johnny
about
Bravo.
Point Break. There was a show here in Chicago. It was a live play version of Point Break, and every night an audience member would audition to do their best Keanu Reeves impression, and whoever got it got to play Keanu in the play.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did they drop him out of a trapdoor at the top of the stage and say, pretend you're falling from an airplane?
No, they should have. What they did do is they gave him a piece of paper, and they had to go, I am an FBI agent.
All right, this one's somewhat difficult, so I'm going to give you a couple choices. But in Guardians of the Galaxy, that would be the first one, which song on Awesome Mix Volume 1 is the first to be heard? Is it Oh Child by the 5 Stair Steps, Come and Get Your Love by Redbone, I'm Not in Love by 10cc, or Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum?
So, the third one that you said is the one that you hear when he's in the cave finding the orb in the stone for the first time, but I believe... Can you read me the fourth one again? That's the one I'm going to pick. But I
Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, no. Then, hold on. I'm getting all the numbers wrong.
I once want to bet on the artist of that song.
It's the one he's listening to as his mother's dying in the hospital. Can you give me the choices again real quick?
Yeah. Oh Child by the 5 Stair Steps, Come and Get Your Love by Redbone, I'm Not in Love by 10cc, and Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum.
So, I was getting the numbers wrong. The number 3, I believe, is the first one used. Number 2 is the one in the cave.
Okay, so you're going with I'm Not in Love?
I'm Not in Love.
Yep, that is correct. Not in Love,
Ooh.
10cc.
Things are going to get easier.
I had no idea about that one. That's a great poll.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love Chris Pratt. Jeff and I are both huge fans of Parks and Rec, and I loved that he took over the character of... Well, he didn't take it over, but he originated Star-Lord on screen. He's really good.
I think the soundtracks in that are just phenomenal, too. That's one of my favorite parts of those two movies.
I find myself listening to those from time to time.
I actually just follow Gunn on Spotify because just whatever he's listening to on a day-to-day basis is usually pretty interesting.
Should probably follow him on Twitter, too. Here it gets interesting.
He's a cool guy.
He is.
All right, number 4. Which of the following was the name of the very first Black Panther who united the 5 tribes of Wakanda? Is it Bast, Bashenga, Kevin, or Sian?
Bast is the cat goddess that they get the whole Black Panther mythos from. So I'm going to have to say Bashenga.
It is Bashenga. Good job.
Wow.
Sweet.
Still killing it. And 5. In Thor and its sequel, Thor is aided by his fellow Asgardian warriors, a group called Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. Can you name at least 2 of the other 3 warriors? And, if you can get all 3, go for it.
Does it get, laid less on me if I get all 3?
We'll see what Tom Cruise has to say at the end.
Yeah, I want to see if I can block one of Tom's bullets. The Warriors 3 are Hogun, Volstagg, and Fandral.
Yep, I think you got all 3.
And Shazam played Fandral.
Yeah,
The second time. Third time.
Yeah, I believe it's Zachary Levi, Tadanobu Asano, and Ray Stevenson. Thank you.
Yep. All right, I'm going to pass the questions over to Neil to take the helm from here.
I loved him in Rome.
Oh, you did? Yeah, when in Rome.
Never been to Rome.
All right, moving on to question 6. I'm going to cover one of my eyes. When Nick Fury is attacked in his armored car in Captain America the Winter Soldier, Dustin's favorite of the series, the vehicle is severely disabled. What system on the car was still fully operational?
That was Kit, right?
He was trying to get airborne. That was disabled. The armor became disabled. So, let's see. After that, the propulsion came back online where he could drive, but I think it's the countermeasures. The big machine gun is the one you're referring to. So I'm going to say the conventional countermeasures gun thing.
So what I have here actually is the only thing that was working was the air conditioning.
Okay.
So that was the only thing still fully operational. So air conditioning. All right.
If the dude would have had hair for the wind to blow through, I would have known that.
Yeah. Well, you and Nick Fury both. Yeah.
Missing your
Tell me
visual
about it.
cues.
So number 7, when the Jarvis AI becomes part of Vision in Avengers Age of Ultron, Tony replaces it with a different AI program. What is the name of his girl, the new AI program?
So there's a couple girl names. I think Veronica is what they call the satellite thing that Hulkbuster comes down from. So I believe it's her name is Friday.
And a reference to the film, His Girl Friday, correct?
His Girl Friday is like the fastest talking movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to see like a great like old timey chatter movie, that's the one you should watch.
Yeah, anytime. And if there's a great video online that you can watch about Cary Grant and other actors, Katharine Hepburn and whatnot, about why they sounded the way they did back in the old days of film, it's called the transatlantic accent. So look that up. It's a cool little 3-minute video.
Pretty interesting.
All right, number 8. Cap isn't so great with cultural references, but he did catch a reference to something from his era aboard the Hellcarrier in the Avengers. What movie was referenced, and also, what specifically was the reference?
You said from his era, not the era he was sleeping during?
From his era, correct.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of a Winter Soldier reference. Oh, it was Flying Monkeys and the Wizard of Oz.
That is correct.
I understand that reference.
That
One of the best scenes in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right, and number 9. What does the acronym SHIELD stand for? Get at least 3 of the words right. 4 for bragging points.
Okay. It is the Strategic Homeland Intervention and Enforcement of Law Division.
All right, well, you only needed 4, so you did get 4, but it is the Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement, and Logistics Division. So you did get 4, though, so that's correct.
I think I got 5.
I'm sorry. You got...
5 out of 6.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for that.
There are 6 letters.
I'm only here for bragging rights.
Yes, exactly, yeah. All right, moving right along to the next question, number 10. Yeah, I guess I'm done already. Here we go. All right. Karmitage Kathmandu is the headquarters of the Masters of the Mystic Arts, aided by 3 sanctums around the world. In what cities are the other 3 sanctums located?
London, New York, and Hong Kong.
That is correct. All right, moving along to Mr. Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Culver.
Do I have to redact my middle name again? Because I'll do it.
So what's the score update here? Dustin hasn't got one wrong, has he?
He has gotten one wrong.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
So, in danger.
Very, very slight danger. Tom Cruise is 450 miles away, but he's gaining ground.
Thanos has 4 of the Infinity Gems right now.
Was it just the 1 out of the 6 words in S.H.I.E.L.D., or what did I drop?
What was number 6?
Conditioner.
Air conditioner.
Ah, that's right. The one that bald guys can't show or know.
That's right.
All right, on to question 11. In the first Avengers film, a S.H.I.E.L.D. operative playing a classic video game on his screen gets called out by Tony Stark. What game was it?
That man's playing Galaga. He doesn't think we can see him, but we can see it.
And you are quite right. He is playing Galaga. Question 12. What name does Tony Stark give to his Hulkbuster armor, which first appears in Avengers Age of Ultron? It's a play on the name of Dr. Banner's first love.
So, I was talking earlier about Veronica being the name of the satellite, and don't know if I know another answer for the name of the armor. Let me think for a second. So, Thunderbolt Ross was the general, and Liv Tyler was Betsy or Betty. So it is. Okay, that explains Veronica. I never got the reference till just now. So it's Veronica as a joke for Betty for his first love, Betty.
You are quite right. Stark says he's already had a Betty, so he names it Veronica.
You just worked through that right now. That's pretty.
I did.
That's pretty amazing.
I don't think you're ready for this, Betty.
Well played. Question 13. Other than Avengers Infinity War, Thanos has only spoken lines in 2 films, post-credit scenes included. Name both films.
In Guardians of the Galaxy 1, he speaks to Ronan, giving him instructions and making him feel like a little Kree. And it's the post-credit, and he says, I guess I'll have to do it myself. And if I'd have been watching these in order to study, this would be a lot easier. So bear with me a second.
He looked a lot different in the original scene, too. They changed him up a little bit.
It wasn't too bad. It was a little different, but
he was a different purple.
Yeah.
Like the Gollum between Lord of the Rings
Even
1
in the
and
comics,
2
though,
is
he's like
much-
a bunch of different purples.
Maybe that's what this episode should be. It's not Tom Cruise. It's if Thanos will snap or not. So
Yeah, but then he's still got a 50% chance
that's
to
true.
survive.
That's true.
So then we'll flip a coin.
The whole reason I've been
all
going so
for
hard
naught.
is that I'm mad at Tom Cruise permanently for getting the rights to Jack Reacher and making me so that I'll never see one of those movies. So I don't want to get it laid on me by the Mad Titan, just the Mad Dwarf Tom Cruise.
Ooh, careful. Neil's a fan.
Oh, that's okay. I'm a big fan.
I'm a fan of much of his work, but lately he's 5'6" and is playing a 6'5" guy, and it makes me nuts. So
He's 5 foot tops.
Stalling for time.
He's playing Michael Jordan in the new autobiographical movie. It's going to be amazing.
The end of Thor Dark World is when they bring the ether to the collector. I think it's at the end credit scene of like the second end credit scene of Avengers Age of Ultron.
All right, so the 2 films in question, the first Guardians of the Galaxy and a post-credit stinger in Age of Ultron.
Wow.
I always remember it. I always remember that because it doesn't make any sense there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine,
do
fine,
what
I'll do
yourself.
it.
Like you
Yeah.
just have a glove with some spangles on it.
Question 14. What was the name of the SHIELD/Hydra project in Captain America the Winter Soldier that was tasked with preemptively dispatching future threats to Hydra?
Okay. It's the network telecarriers that I thought I spotted a continuity error while they were talking about this, but I realized that it was saying it's predictive because it talks about Stephen Strange when he's just a regular doctor, but it somehow predicted that he was going to become a super magician doctor when it was calling out threats. I think it was called Insight.
And you had the right insight on that question. It was Project Insight.
Wow.
There was a bonus question he had written, and the answer was Dr. Stephen Strange.
Yeah.
So
That is a point of continuity that people argue with because depending on the timeline on when that happened, he might have already have been Stephen Strange or Doctor Strange or whatever, depending on how it works
He
out.
was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but
When he's riding his Lamborghini before he crashes it, he gets a phone call talking about cases he might want to take, and one of those is definitely referring to James Rhodes being crippled at the end of Civil War.
Mhm.
So don't start.
I don't think
I want to
I've
know
ever-
if I want to know what kind of bonus credits I get for psychically predicting the bonus question about psychically predicting the answer to that bonus question.
Well, we'll find out in the end game.
Man, you think I'd know that already?
I don't think I ever cried so hard as when he crashed his Lamborghini. What a waste.
Because of his spine and hands, or
No, because I cried really hard when they smashed the Audi R8 in the first Iron Man, and then they upped their game by
so you
smashing
only
a Lamborghini.
care about cars?
Yeah,
not their
that's it.
passengers. Okay.
They wrecked a bunch of them for that shot too. I was more sad about the Cobra getting burned when he was testing flight in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, that was a great car.
Yeah, I don't think that was an actual original Cobra though, but
Okay.
Car talk.
they're worth too much. All right, question number 15. What song is apparently Tony Stark's choice for Iron Man's epic introductions? It is heard in most movies with Iron Man and is specifically used for his intro in Iron Man 2 and The Avengers.
I normally don't study for anything, and I never study for anything, but I've been really trying to be an organized guy and make notes, and specifically took note of how much AC/DC Tony Stark is into, even though he wears the Black Sabbath shirt, and it's Shoot to Thrill that he uses in those cases.
I believe that is the on the backs of the pipes of Brian Johnston, Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC.
That is funny. I just realized that you're right. He wears a Black Sabbath t-shirt, but there's a lot of AC/DC.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew.
Are we doing
Bring
four
it-
more with
yeah,
Matt?
four
Bringing
more.
it home?
Bringing it home to number 20.
How close
That's,
is that little dude
5
with the
more
gun?
questions.
Oh, the little.
He's pretty far away
He's
at
yeah.
this juncture.
He's very far away.
He's still in the parking lot.
All right, number 16. The first evidence of Disney's Marvel buyout. Which film features a reworked version of a song from a Disney animated feature?
Wow. Okay, let me think for a minute. Disney's buyout was after Hulk, and I'm trying to remember if the first Avenger was made by Marvel Studios under Disney. You're asking for the movie, right?
Correct.
I'm going to guess that it's some kind of a Snow White or Jiminy Cricket thing in the first Avenger.
I believe this is sung by James Spader. There's no strings on me.
No strings.
Age of Ultron.
Was that Pinocchio?
Pinocchio.
Yeah, wow.
The question being the first evidence of the buyout's interesting because that was like the fifth or sixth movie they made under Disney,
Right.
but
I think that's the first Disney property that they would use. And
that was a good question.
yeah, I remember that was like a huge part of the trailer. That was like pretty much like the big part of it. All right, number 17. Much like Jarvis and Friday, the Spider-Man suit that Tony gives Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming has an AI voice that runs it. What name does Peter give to that voice?
He spends all the weird alone time with her studying his web shooters in that in the warehouse. I think he names her Karen.
He names her Karen. That is correct.
Was she voiced by Alison Brie?
It doesn't say on the sheet.
Okay, I think
so-
I think that might be true.
Ooh, that'd be a good deep cut thing to know.
I'm just trying to help.
Number 18. In the arc reactor that Tony Stark built to power the original Iron Man suit, what element did he need to construct it? He pulled it from the Stark warheads in the cell, and it eventually ended up poisoning him.
Yes. Okay, so it was super radioactive. My instinct was polonium because that's what Putin poisons all his supervillain victims with. But I believe that it was iridium in this case.
It was actually palladium.
Palladium. It was right in between the two.
Palladium, yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Should let Jeff pronounce that one first.
Breaking news here. It is
Neil was
not
wrong.
It was not Alison Brie for anyone at home keeping score at home.
I figured I would have remembered that one.
Yeah, it was a favorite. It's a favorite of me and Ken. It's Jennifer Connelly, Oscar winner.
You're not alone.
Oh, wow.
Oscar winner kind of.
No,
She
wrong.
was in the Ang Lee Hulk, one of the pre-Marvel Universe Hulks.
Oh, yeah.
She was. Nice little reference back to the one that is Eric Bana does not talk about ever.
Yeah, they just made that basically because they were going to lose the character if they didn't make a Hulk movie, right?
Yeah, same thing with Spider-Man. Yeah, that's why they kept making them, yeah.
Yeah. All right, 19. In Ant-Man, Scott Lang gets a job after he is released from prison and is fired after they learn of his criminal past. At what dessert specialty shop is he employed?
Baskin Robbins don't play, man.
Yeah,
Baskin Robbins
always
always finds out.
It is Baskin Robbins, and it does say they always find out. All right. The final question, number 20.
Dun, 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 dun.
Number 20. Which film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was the first to call the Infinity Stones by that name? It was in an end credit scene.
That's a good one. The first one I can remember in the post credits is going to be when Sif and Volstagg bring the Reality Stone as the Aether to the Collector at the end credits of Thor: The Dark World. They say it's not good to keep two Infinity Stones that close together.
Yep, in one of the more or less talked about probably Marvel movies, it is Thor: The Dark World.
I'm proud of myself. I knew that one.
Wow. So
Since you're blazing through here, let's do two more quick ones, and we'll see if you can just get the what you only missed two, I believe, right?
2 out of 20.
wow.
All right, so two more. We'll see if we could get you all the way to 20 correct. I want to know which of the 9 realms Loki comes from.
Ooh, it's the land of the frost giants. It's Jotunheim.
Jotunheim is correct. Good job. All right, your final question. As of Avengers Infinity War, 3 characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, other than Tony Stark and James Rhodes, have fired a weapon in an official Iron Man suit. I'd like you to name 2 or 3 if you can. 2 for credit.
Okay, so for sure, Pepper does in Iron Man 3. He saves her with the suit, and then she gets a full suit right toward the end. So I believe it's Pepper Potts is one, and Bruce Banner's driving the Veronica for the good chunk of Infinity War. And let me try and think on the third one. So Obadiah Stane was not driving an official Iron Man suit. I'm I don't know if a War Machine is considered an official Iron Man suit. I suppose it isn't. I was thinking it could have been
We said other than James Rhodes.
Well, I'm thinking
But yes, I believe the War Machine suit would be a Iron Man suit.
So if that's the case, I'm going to say when it's... I don't know the dude's name. So in Iron Man 3, the Iron Patriot is what they're calling the War Machine suit with the goofy paint job. And the one extremist guy is driving it for a while, and then he ends up putting the president in it, William Sadler. And so it's got to be one of those two guys. And I think that it is the bad extremist guy. I don't know the actor or the character's name.
Okay, well, the third you got the first two right. The third answer I have is actually Natasha Romanoff in the Iron Man 2 party scene.
Oh, so okay, cool. When Ultron is coming after them, interesting.
Yeah. Well, you still got credit for the question. That makes 20 out of 22. Let's see what Tom Cruise has to say. Yeah, he didn't even show up today.
Yeah, he didn't clock in. That was a very, very impressive performance there, Dustin.
My strategy was just to hide up on a high shelf where Tom Cruise and his gun could never see or find me.
Well, it seemed to have worked.
I thought maybe you put the Ant-Man suit on, disappeared out of sight.
I thought that's what he did when he started his movie career.
Wow.
Man, hot takes.
That explains why he got stuck at 3/4 size.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Tim Evans again, Quiz Mercenary,
4
for
or
those
5 tops
for those questions as Tom Cruise's height keeps shrinking. So, Dustin, before you tell us where people can find you and your art one more time, what are your top 3 Marvel movies so far that have been released?
Like I said, the Winter Soldier is my favorite of the Captain Americas. It's definitely in the top 3 total. I just love Black Panther to death, and for like sheer I can't stop watching it lately, I'm gonna actually say Guardians 2. I may in the long run like 1 better, but it's the Aero Ballet scene.
Oh yes,
come a little bit closer. I've watched that 50 times. I just love the cinematography and the strut.
I always pick Thor Ragnarok in my top 3.
That one's
plus
I just rewatched it the other day. It's really good.
The Jimmy Urine cameo from Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Right.
There are occasions in the MCU lately where it's like they'll have a serious scene and then they'll break it up by making it funny. And the one where it didn't annoy me at all was Ragnarok, and they do that constantly at Ragnarok.
That's because it was a buddy comedy.
Yeah.
And I liked the way that Ragnarok was written and kind of treated more like it in the Guardians vein of funny. But yeah, I love the Jimmy Urine cameo and the Tom Morello cameo in the first Iron Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He gets killed
stuff.
immediately.
Yeah, killing in the name of the 10 Rings.
Yeah, we love that cameo too. So where can people find you once again?
It's dustinresch.com, which is, I know, worth spelling because it's not like Tom Cruise, an easy name to spell. So DUSTINRESCH.com, and that will lead you to my myriad different sites and social media accounts. And the illustration.dustinresch.com is where all my superhero stuff is. And then, just follow the links around.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and thanks again for joining us. Just want to thank the gentleman for joining me in the studio. And with a snap of my fingers, and we'll see who makes it, that was Triviality.
Oh, Ken, I don't feel so good.
Hold me, Mr. Stark, hold me.
The Chitauri are coming. Nothing will change that. What have I to fear?
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Sort of like a team. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
Yes, I've met them.
Yeah. Takes us a while to get any traction, I'll give you that one. But let's do a head count here. Your brother, the demigod. A super soldier, a living legend who kind of lives up to the legend. A man with breathtaking anger management issues, a couple of master assassins, and you, big fella. You've managed to piss off every single one of them.
That was the plan.
Not a great plan. When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.